Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 14. So, you guys, first things first, before we get to this actual episode, we have to talk about that interview, that unfortunate interview that Kimmy and Maurice did with Tea GIF. I'm just gonna say, listen, I've been trying to be there for Maurice because I thought that Maurice had more sense than the other men that were on the show. I still feel like Maurice does. However, what's troubling about the Scotts is their ego. And the Scott brothers is the ego and the unwillingness to see things other than the way that they see things. Even at the detriment to their relationship. So the conversation was so that Maurice could possibly clear up the things that he said on an interview that he did with Carlos King. I didn't watch that whole interview because I was already kind of disgusted about just him trying to clarify how he needs to have sex. You know, I just was just sort of like, boy. Okay, you have a wife that's fighting for her life. Yeah, she's out the woods now, looks like, and she can get on back to her regular schedule. But I just thought that the things that he was saying was so callous, and I didn't understand why he didn't see that it was going to come over very negatively for the average viewer. Okay, so I just was like, I didn't even watch that whole video. I saw parts of it on on Instagram, and I was just like, this is one of those situations where the nigga is just gonna double down on how he feels because he's already said it on the show. Now he's saying it in Carlos King's interview. So of course, the people did not like that, the things that he was saying. I had no idea he was saying bend over and take it, and, you know, that he needs to do this. I mean, a lot of the stuff that he was saying, I didn't know any of those things until they talked about it on Tea GIF. And so, Kimmy's always expressed herself well. And yeah, there are some things that, you know, we'll talk about in this video that Kimmy may have things a little bit wrong, you know, when it comes to certain things in there that they're dealing with. But in this situation with the sex, the fact that she's had cancer, had to go to therapy and all, I didn't think that it was Kimmy's responsibility. I mean, not therapy, had to go get the chemo and all of that chemotherapy. I didn't think that it was Kimmy's responsibility to try to go and clear up the things that Maurice said, you know. But Kimmy is saying, she got on there and she said, no, you guys don't understand. You know, it's not that she was forced to have sex. She had made the decision on her own. And I was just listening to Kimmy and I was like, well, see, Kimmy, the thing about that is, you made the decision on your own because you know that your husband is a man that always wants sex. So it's still sort of like you're doing it because it helps him, as opposed to, you know, I know that once you get in the act, yeah, you finally got going, you're getting the feelings going, it feels good to you and everything. But the initial, if you didn't feel like it, then you having sex with him is literally just because he wants to. Okay, at the very end of all of that, it's because he wanted to have sex and you decided to do it. But so everything that Kimmy does, I think, when it came to this situation was for Maurice. The problem that I had with Maurice was, and like they said, Kimmy loves Maurice, so she's going to protect her husband, and that's fine. But I don't think that Maurice does a good job or even attempts to protect Kimmy. And I'm starting to see it more and more and more and more. One of the rock stars last week told me, like, Roxanne, why can't you just say that he's trash and da-da-da-da-da? And I was just like, well, I don't think that he's trash. I just think that he's selfish and that he's, you know, doesn't think about the things that he say. But this situation made me just kind of just be like, well, maybe he is trash, and maybe I need to apologize to that rock star. Or not apologize, because we weren't getting into it or anything, but you know, it's just sort of like, really, for him to get the opportunity to clear up anything that we could have misconstrued or misunderstood, and for him to not do it, I felt like it was his ego that was keeping him from doing it. You know, we can't unring that bell. You know, of course I'm going to make sure that my wife is okay. Okay. Then why is it so hard for you to say, I should not have said that? And I should not be demanding or even making my wife feel in any type of way that she has to have sex with me because I have to have it. Nobody has to have sex. If you have to have sex, then you have a problem. Then yes, I'm not saying that sex is not important in relationships, but what I'm saying is Maurice is trying to make it seem like sex is necessary for him to live. Okay? Like he has to, and that's not the facts. The facts is you want to have sex and you have a wife that is going to oblige you because she don't want no problems. However, it's extremely selfish for you to ask for this woman to do anything like that while she is sick. Cancer, anybody that knows, anybody that's been through chemo, anybody who's been through chemo themselves personally knows that sex is probably the last thing on your mind. Like I said, you are looking at your mortality every day. You got to get up. You don't know if these chemicals going in your fucking body is going to keep you alive or not. You got to be worried about if your nigga want to fuck tonight. No, sorry, excuse my language, it's Sunday and everything. But what I'm saying was I was so irritated with that. I was so irritated with what he was saying because he just refused to say it. Both Claudia and Funky Dineva both gave him the chance to correct what he said, and he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. Your wife wants you to say, even though she's not going to say it here, because she even said when Claudia was just like, Funky Dineva said, you look very uncomfortable. And she was just like, I'm not uncomfortable. It's just that I feel like he's not really answering the questions. I was like, I sure would have liked to have been a fly on that wall once that interview was done. Because Maurice still didn't answer the questions. And Claudia just finally had to read them at the end. She was just like, you know, it's just awful that your wife is protecting you, but you don't protect her. Okay? Like, you should make this woman feel safe. I mean, you should even be going out of your way to make this woman feel safe, because she had to face a whole year of not knowing if she was going to live to see her son turn 30, to see her son get married and have kids, and she didn't know what was going to go on. And that's all you can do is, well, I can't unring the bell. I was just like, remember I told you guys before that sometimes there are things that your spouse requires that you might not want to do, but you do it because that's all a part of being in a relationship and compromising and things like that. This is definitely one of those situations where I'm talking about. He couldn't even swallow his pride enough to say, I didn't mean it that way, or to just flat out say, I was fucked up and I shouldn't have said that. Like, I shouldn't have said that. I was caught up. Me and Carlos, we were laughing. We were having a good time. You know, I was just saying things kind of tongue-in-cheek. Didn't mean what I said. But the fact that he won't even back up off of it, he meant that. He meant it. He meant it. And I'm done. I'm done. You know, I just was so... And my heart goes out to Kimmy because I felt embarrassed for her that they tried to clear this up and probably made it worse for them. Okay? It's not like they're not used to being under the spotlight. They've been through things on the show, but this is not even reality show fodder. This is like real life, and you just really, you know. Now, of course, nobody is expecting Kimmy to be getting a divorce from Maurice, you know, over something like this. This is definitely one of those things that they are going to have to work through if they want to make their marriage work. But if it didn't work, I wouldn't be like, this is something that a marriage could break up over, potentially. You know, I'm sick, and you just worried about always wanting to fuck. Even if you didn't say it, the fact that I know that it's a pressing matter. It's gone a week. Like Kimmy said, she's not going to let her man go past a week without having sex. You know, just that thought. It's the 5th day. You don't feel like it. Okay, but you know you only got 2 more days left to this week, and then you're going to have to get busy. Okay? It's just sort of like, yeah, Kimmy's put too much on her own plate dealing with Maurice. I just wanted to talk about it because I knew that was really the big thing this week. And I just was so disgusted. I just was disappointed. And I don't want people to misunderstand me because, you know, I know people sometimes think that I go soft on people. But I do try to give people second chances. I do try to look at the big picture. I do try to, you know that sometimes people just be talking out of turn, just be talking out the side of their neck like your mama used to, you know, your grandparents used to say or whatever. But the reality is that Maurice is a disgusting person for the things that he said, not only to Carlos King, but for him to not correct that when they went on Tea GIF. Okay? My heart is hurt for Kimmy. Kimmy's a strong woman. And I still don't think that Maurice can't understand, you know, what the situation is here, and that I don't think that he can't change. It's going to take some work for him to really understand. He's going to need to want to do it. Because him not saying nothing about it when I watched that video, I watched it yesterday, but I think the video, it was on Friday. But for him to not try to correct that, yes, big problem. Big, that's a thumbs down. Okay? So, yeah. Very, very, very sad. Anyway, you guys, that's that on that. You guys make sure, you know, feel free to leave your comments below. And let me know what you think about that. Let's get on to the review. All right, you guys. So this conversation with Kimmy and Kiowa was like, I don't really know where it's supposed to go. When I said I needed to talk more about Kimmy, I think that Kimmy expecting Kiowa to clear her name when Kiowa was already kind of salty about everything to begin with. Like Kiowa said, that is not her responsibility. Yeah, it would have been cool if she could have done it. But I'm not expecting Kiowa to do that, okay? Fuck y'all. That's y'all relationship. That y'all on this show. Y'all deal with y'all. Y'all one of the ones that wanted to go on here and do all of that. So now get everything that comes with it. Okay, that's probably how Kiowa feels. All right. And I think that if Kimmy and Kiowa were in better places, then maybe Kiowa would have said, you know, Kiowa said, well, you know, she didn't even really apologize, because what is she apologizing for? But Kiowa did say, I never said that you were a side chick. And I think that at least that, I think that Kiowa saying that was enough for Kimmy, you know, that is on record that Kiowa said that she wasn't a side chick. So we gonna just baby steps. Like Kimmy said, you know, that's good enough for right now. All right, we can move on with things, and maybe in time, maybe they may become closer. I don't think that Kimmy and Kiowa don't like each other, or, you know, I think Kiowa has had to deal with probably just getting over Maurice and all of that. But, I mean, they seem like two grown, sensible women, you know. And so, hopefully that this is it. You know, and that they won't be talking about this anymore. You know, Kimmy, everybody is still going to kind of feel how they feel about it, how you got with Maurice. Even if, you know, this big old stance is taken on her not being a side chick, or her not being responsible for the divorce, because the language kind of changed. And somebody in the comments last week did point that out and said that Kimmy was being slick because she used to say that she wasn't a side chick. Now, I guess the language is that she is not responsible for the divorce happening. So, a little bit different. You know, it is what it is, child. That's over. Okay, let's keep it going. So, later on, we see Maurice and Monster They're going to the gym. Maurice said he's been really hard on Monster lately. So, you know, he just wants them to be able to still have like a fun relationship, father-son. So, you know, let's go to the gym. Let's play some basketball and, you know, just see if they can bond that way. So they do. I think that Maurice and Monster probably have a typical father-son relationship where the father is Maurice. I think that Maurice loves his son at the end of the day, and I think that Monster loves his dad, okay? But you guys know that this age where Monster is, and men, the egos, that, you know, eventually these two are going to probably bump heads. I think there's always a time where men bump heads, father, son, because it's just a natural progression of somebody growing up and you having, you know, the young son having a different opinion than the father, you know, so it happens. And there has to be a new understanding when your son becomes a man and you know, now your son, you know, now you as a father have this grown man son, you're gonna have to learn how to relate to them a little differently than when they was a child. So anyway, but I do feel like they love each other. So anyway, they play, shoot the ball around. You know, Maurice makes one basket and Monster makes 20. And then after they finish, they talk. Maurice asks him how he feels about everything. And Monster says, you know, he's fine. He just kind of get tired of hearing the same things over and over. It's funny when kids say shit like that. It's just like, well, if you would listen to me, I wouldn't have to say these things over and over. Okay? Yes, it gets on my damn nerves when I have to tell you to take the trash out 15 times. All right? So, yeah, you know, so I was listening to that and I was just kind of smiling to myself. But anyway, Maurice said that he had to realize that he was basing his life experiences and pushing that on Monster and feeling like Monster should behave the same way that he did when he was Monster's age. For example, I guess I don't know what the situation was with his parents. I thought the parents have always been around, but I guess everybody was struggling. Okay, so the kids had to get to work. All right. And so Maurice, you know, was hustling, cutting grass, he said, and doing other things. Marceau had to work and, you know, they had to take care of themselves. They had to buy their clothes. They had to feed themselves. They had to do a lot on their own. And Maurice said he finally realized that Monster is not the same as him because their realities, their lives are totally different. And I was like, yes, these kids have, and I didn't have no struggle. My life was not a struggle growing up. My kids' life is totally different than what my life was when I was their age. Okay. It's just times is totally different. So, I mean, kudos to Maurice for understanding that, I guess. You know, of course, all of that was a long lecture as usual. So I was just like, see, this is what Monster talking about. Nigga just love to hear himself talk. Okay. You got Marceau being the smartest nigga in the room and Maurice loving to hear himself talk, child. It's just a whole lot. But Maurice is going to say to Monster, you know, I just need to know who you are. You know, who is Monster? And Monster is like, I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm like, the boy is 15 years old. What child knows who they are at that age? Okay, they living life. They trying to figure it out. They ain't even got to the point where they trying to figure it out. They just living life, child. At this point, can we just graduate from high school? That's the goal. Okay, that's what I am right now, a high school student trying to graduate. Okay, so I just was like, Maurice. I feel like Maurice thinks that Monster is a grown up, and he's not. So all these demands and shit that you putting on him is just too much. So Maurice was like, yeah, I guess maybe I can be too much and you can tell me when I'm being too much. And Monster was just like, can I? He was like, yes, you definitely can. I was just like, now as a parent, yeah, we say these things all the time. Okay. And then when I say, take that damn trash out. And then when the nigga say, I don't feel like it, you know, this ain't working for me. Now we got a problem. So no, that's that ain't the way to handle it either. Okay. I'm being facetious. Maybe they're not talking about situations like that, but I kind of feel like that opens the door to just saying, you know, if you don't want to do it, son, you can tell me that too. So, you know, Maurice says he wants Monster to be the best that he can be, you know, that he can And he wants to be the one to usher that in the best way that he can. And Monster appreciates him. You know, this conversation is just those grown conversations where the teens just be like, okay, ready to just move on. So Monster was just like, you know, can we go get something to eat after this? And Maurice says yes. And I mean, I guess that they were able to get some understanding between the two of them. We'll just see if Maurice sticks to that when Monster tell him he don't feel like doing something. What did he say? He doing too much. Now let's jump over to Stormy. So Stormy meets out with Mel. She says that she feels like her and Mel are kind of in this weird space because they didn't get anything resolved, and they haven't spoken since, I guess, Mel had the tea. And she was just like, you know, I'm a person that likes to do things in person. So texting and DMs and shit, that ain't never gonna be her thing. Okay, let's talk face to face. So, you know, they see each other. Mel, hey girl, you know, you look so good. How you doing? I love Mel. She always go tell people they look good, even if they don't. Not that Stormy looked a mess or nothing. But I wish I could get the inflections of the tone of Stormy's accent. I've never been able to do, there's certain, like I can hear a difference in country accents. Like there's a different, Atlanta is different than Tennessee's, you know, like Memphis's country is different than like Jacksonville's country in Texas, which is different than Houston's country. I mean, Jacksonville's country in Florida, which is different than like Houston or Dallas's country in Texas. You know, I can definitely hear the differences, but I can't make my voice sound like them. And I don't know where Stormy is from. I guess Stormy might be from Alabama, but I can't pick up her accent. Anyway, this is just personal production problems. So they sit down, you know, how have you been? You know, Mel says she's been good. And she's glad that they're sitting down and talking. And Stormy was just like, well, you know, it just feels like Mel tries to avoid the hard conversations. I was like, Stormy, in all due respect, you just came around. Mel hasn't avoided difficult conversations. This is a newer Mel where she's trying to avoid conflict. Okay? She's not trying to get involved in drama, but Mel was in plenty of drama for about 4 good seasons. All right? So, or 5 really, if you count last season. But I saw last season what Mel was trying to do. And then this season, I think she's being more successful in doing it.
You know what, Stormy, if I really was trying to avoid the hard conversations, I wouldn't have had the tea and I wouldn't be here today.
Okay? Like, I'm here to talk. Let's talk. So she was just like, let me ask you a question. Before we started kicking it, you know, did you know that your mama didn't like me? And Stormy was just like, well, I knew that she didn't like you from the TV, what she saw on TV, but she didn't really have no reason to like you. And so I think that that was good that Stormy said that, so that Mel didn't think that Stormy and her mom was getting together to try to gang up on her. You know, what bothers me is when Stormy says the same things that Letitia used to say that got on our nerves when she was saying with Miss Wanda, was that I can't control what my mother says. Okay, no, you cannot control her, but you cannot even have her on the show. Okay, you ain't even had to bring the lady on if she was gonna cut up like that. Especially if she's putting you in a position now with you and your friend. And child, I feel so preachy today. Let me just, let me get through this review. I hate being preachy, by the way. That's why I rarely do advice videos anymore. I mean, I don't do advice videos anymore, but I rarely give advice because it just be sometimes sounding like somebody just up on their soapbox, you know? I don't like sounding like that. So anyway, sorry, the car had cut off. I had to cut it back on. So, you know, Mel said, I do believe that you don't feel the same way as your mom. You know, she appreciates the fact that she said that. However, the shit that Mel went through with Miss Wanda and Letitia, like, that's just getting over with. Like, she's just finishing getting that complete. They done got Wanda finally off the show. Her and Tisha are in a better place. And she's not trying to start this shit over with Stormy and her mother. Stormy says, yeah, she understands. She says it's just that they abruptly started, had stopped talking after that. And Mel said, really, honestly, we stopped talking even before I met your mother. Okay, Mel's just like, I'm not trying to be I ain't falling for the okie doke with these people, they mamas. Like, I ain't getting involved in none of that shit no more. So Stormy and her mama, if her mama got a problem, her mama gonna be over there fighting with herself. Stormy says, yeah, because she changed before all of that happened. And Mel was just like, you think that I did? And she was just like, uh-huh. And Mel was just like,
okay.
And, Stormy didn't like the fact that she just okayed her. That's my favorite response when people just try to, especially on social media, when folks try to go off on me, they leave this long ass... on Instagram, they leave this long ass comment going off on me. I say, okay, with a little happy face. All right, that means, baby, I ain't even thinking about you no more. But Stormy says that, she just gonna take whatever she can get. I guess this is her and Mel's new relationship, and she's going to just have to be okay with that. And my opinion is, yes, she'll just have to be okay with that. Mel's not giving any more. And then later on, we see Courtney. This was actually a very good scene. Actually had me kind of in my feels, you guys. But we see Courtney go over to his mom's house. And how refreshing is it to see a mother that has sense, that ain't ghetto, that ain't trying to go off on nobody, that looks like she loves her child and communicates well with them. Like, I was just like, okay, Courtney, I like your mama. She, he comes over. She was just like, you want some coffee? You look tired. And he was just like, yeah, I guess he's been working hard trying to get these damn orders out. But anyway, so what's been going on, son? He tells her he's been busy with work and with the family and everything. And then on top of all of that, his stress is climbing because Stormy now decided she wanted to have another baby. He ain't really trying to have another baby. He don't really talk about it, though. Whenever the topic comes up, he figures out a way to steer her off of it. The mom's not really understanding what he said, and he said that he wants to break the curse. He wants to make sure that he's there for his son. Okay, apparently Courtney's dad was not there. And I think he said in this conversation that the dad ended up dying. I don't know how old Courtney was. So he didn't never get to have that relationship that he wanted with his father. And, the mom was just like, I know that your father abandoning you really affected you. And this is when he really started crying. I'm gonna tell you guys something about when a grown man cries about their father not being around. If men don't see that and realize what a big difference their absence is in their child's life, whenever you see big grown strong men that don't normally behave this way, when you see them start crying, it just immediately touches me, because I'm just like, this is their inner child. This is still a child who misses their father. This nigga is probably 40, 45 years old or something like that. Okay? And still, at his core, wishes that his dad was there. He is crying about the fact that his dad was gone. You guys, oh my God, I was so, But the mom was just like, you are a great father, with the one that you have now. And she was like, you need to listen to Stormy, because you cutting it off, that don't help her. The mom feels like they should probably have more kids. She feels like, you need to make sure that you keep your kids' ages together, so they can have that connection and all. And, the mom seems to be on Stormy's side, but still trying to be supportive to her son. And those are the things that I like. Okay. Nothing like having a great mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is fantastic. I could have a conversation with her about Mr. And it could be all bad and negative, and she will listen to me and understand what I'm saying. So when you guys are looking at your spouses or your potential spouses, y'all, that relationship with the in-laws, I mean, if they are going to be involved, then you need to, try to make sure that relationship is intact. I feel preachy. Let me move off of this. Anyway, she just tells him that family is important. He needs to talk to Stormy about it. And, he said that he will. And then lastly, you guys, jumping over to Letitia and Marceau. So we see they meet at the venue for the Black Business Expo. Honey, when Letitia was walking in that building, my eyes immediately went to her butt. I said, look at Letitia. She looks great. I was like, not that I ever felt like Letitia didn't have a nice shape, but I don't think I ever really paid much attention to her shape, but today, the day that they was at that damn venue, I was just like, oh, okay. But I didn't think much else of it. I did notice, however. So anyway, Marceau gets there, and they're looking at the space, and then the rest of the comeback group minus Mel, they all show up as well. Okay, and that's when Martell was just like, well, see, somebody been working out, you know, when she walks by him. And she was just like, what, Martell, what you say? You know, don't be saying, you know. And then Marcel's like, you looking at my wife? You looking? And, you know, Martell was just like, no, I'm not looking. I mean, I can just tell. I'm looking at the girl. She walking by. I can see that she's been working out. You know, can't say the same for her husband, okay, with his girdle. We ain't gonna never let Marceau leave that girdle down, child. Anyway, and Stormy was just like, yeah, honey, that booty was bootying. We couldn't even concentrate because that's all that was in our face. I was like, that Letitia knew she looked good too, because, you know, she kept on, well, so, you know, kind of looking around and everything. I was like, girl, you know when you look good. Anyway, enough of that. Stormy and Courtney are going to be in. You know, Stormy was just like, I love doing things like this, you know, for the community and all of that. So yes, count them in. And Martell was just like, oh, so they're going to be replacing Mel. Okay, Martell is mad because Letitia was like, yeah, Mel and I met and we spoke, and she said that, you know, she wasn't going to participate. And she, you know, and Letitia understood that. It wasn't no problems or anything. You know, she just felt like her shit that she's going through with Martell, and then just the past with the group, she just didn't feel like this was really what she wanted to do. Well, Martell, out of all of that, what she said, Martell is taking it personally. He was just like, oh no, it's just because of him because they're in court and this whole thing with custody. And I was just like, Martell, there is more to life than you, okay? Martell, my man. This nigga feel like can't nobody, listen, if Mel don't want to work with you, why do you want to work with her? First of all, you guys fighting all the time, but you want the woman around. I was like, Martell, ain't nobody got time. He is a study, child, a study. But anyway, now that Mel is not doing it, Maurice is feeling away, you know, which what was Letitia was concerned about originally. You know, now that Mel is not doing it, you know, he just wanted the whole group to do everything like when they had the first vision, you know, and it was all of them coming together to help the community. So that's kind of where he wants to be with it. And Letitia was just like, everything is still the same. The only difference is Mel's not in it. We are still going to serve the community, and that is the most important part, right? The people out there, the community, they still need this information that we are going to give to them, right? And Maurice says yes. Okay, he has to agree to that. Okay, so that means that you in? I mean, I guess that means that he's in. It's a dog wandering around my neighborhood, and I don't like to see dogs wandering, because when I walk Blue, I can't be having no damn dog wandering walking up on me. Okay, because then Blue gonna kill him, and it's gonna be a mess. And we ain't had no run-ins in a long time, and I'm not trying to have one. But anyway, getting off topic. And then of course on Expo Day, we see Stormy there. Stormy is at the venue early. She's trying to set up. You know, she's just sort of like, oh, this place is kind of not as big as she thought it was going to be. But Stormy makes the decision, because nobody else is there, that she going to take this back corner over here. All right. Now, I guess Letitia and them, the space that they got, they was thinking more so just tables. Not spaces like where somebody actually can have like a whole full thing. Okay, and I guess Stormy, they was like, oh, you got a stage set up, and and Stormy was just like, I mean, it's not a stage, but I mean, I can't just have no table. What, you thought I was just gonna have a damn dinner tray with some hair care products on there? Like, no. Letitia's concerned when she gets there. She sees that there's not really that much space. I think they had 25 vendors, she said. And Stormy done already took one big corner back there. Yeah, should have been there on time, you could have said. I was just like, nobody had spaced out the space and drew up a diagram and said, okay, you got 5x5 space or 3x3 or 10x10. Like, nobody gave them kind of numbers. You know, so now they're like, we don't know if everybody gonna fit in here. Marceau gets there and he was just like trying to crack the whip. One of those types, you know, coming in like, how much is this? Why do we have all these balloons? Nigga, we gotta have some decoration. You just wanted us to be in a room with some tables set up some damn where. Okay, well, how much did that cost? You know, where's this? How's it? Go somewhere, Marceau. Don't try to come at the 11th hour trying to do something. He asked her if Stormy paid. And Letitia was like, no. And he was like, why not? And she was like, because I told the whole group that they all were getting a space. And he was like, no, she's supposed to pay. It's business. Okay? So then I'm thinking to myself, like, well, how much does it cost for you to be making a big deal out of it? She was just like, I'm not going over there, Marceau. I'm not going over there. I'm not asking her for no money. If you want it, you go do it. He was like, fine. So he walked over there and he was just like, hey, Stormy, look at this. You got everything real nice and everything. Did you pay your fee? And she was like, pay what fee? He was like, the fee to be here, to have a setup. And she was like, ain't nobody said nothing about no damn fee to me. How much is the fee? $100. Marceau, really? What is $100 gonna do for you right now? She was just like, I'm not paying no fucking $100 because ain't nobody said nothing. If it was supposed to be something that I needed to pay, they needed to say that when you asked me to be a part of this bullshit. The only reason why I'm fucking here is because Mel is not here and you guys needed somebody else, I guess, to round it out. And the fact that Stormy has a real business, as a matter of fact, Stormy's stressed out and wishing that she didn't even do this shit because they got a big ass order that they got to get to New York. Courtney is not there because Courtney, oh my God, look at this bug, you guys. Look at that big bitch. I keep on getting distracted, you guys. Let me finish. Courtney's not there because he's with the team trying to get that big order done. And she's feeling guilty that she's not there helping. So she's like, I wish I didn't even commit to this. And now this nigga gonna add insult to injury and tell me to pay $100? What is $100 gonna do for you? I would have been like, you know what? Let's wrap all this up. Put it in the car. I mean, I think the only reason why it didn't go there is because she knows, first of all, Marceau is, like I said, full of shit, but also because she's Tisha's friend, and Tisha wasn't over there with the mess. But she was just like, you are very low vibrational, and he was just like, oh, you're low vibrational. And she was like, oh no, I operate on a higher frequency. You know, she go tell Letitia how he low vibration, and he say she low vibration. Of course she was irritated. And she tells Letitia that she ain't never doing business with Marceau again. All right, you guys, that is it. Let me get on. I got to do Detroit and then get up in this house, child. How about Mr. is teaching Joe how to grill today? They out there on our deck grilling. So we'll see how that goes. I was like, get a good steak, baked potatoes, easy. Steak, baked potatoes, corn on the cob. So that's what we having today. Anyway, you guys, let me get on off of here. Make sure that you thumbs up the video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Rox. The channel is itsrox. Everything I do will be in the bottom bar. All right, so I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, rock stars. Goodbye.